When your budgie falls asleep near you, you probably just assume they're getting comfortable, right? You see that tiny fluff of feathers and your heart just melts. But what's actually happening in that moment is something else entirely. It is quite literally one of the most emotionally loaded things your bird can do. And if you're misunderstanding it, well, you're missing these profound messages they've been trying to send you for years. By the end of this explainer, we're going to uncover the wild psychology of budgie sleep, decode the secret messages hidden in their exact sleeping posture, and look at the terrifying reason why a budgie might suddenly stop sleeping near you. Let's dive right in.
Okay, let's shatter the comfort myth right now. Why does your budgie actually fall asleep near you? You might think, hey, I'm a cozy upgrade from the cage, kind of like a fleshy heating pad, and it just happens naturally. But looking at this behavior through our human eyes completely misses the biological reality of the little animal sitting right next to you.
And this perfectly illustrates exactly where we get it wrong. On one side, we have this human assumption, you are just a soft spot to take a nap. But on the other side, the wild reality. Your budgie is a prey animal, and sleep is when they are at their absolute most defenseless. In the wild, a sleeping budgie is a target, and hawks definitely do not wait around. Every single instinct wired into them over millions of years is screaming that falling asleep near the wrong presence could literally be fatal.
And here's something a lot of owners actually don't know. The absolute most comfortable sleeping position for a budgie, it's standing on one leg, tucked into their own feathers, perched on their own branch. That is their version of a perfect bed, and they honestly don't need anything else. So when your budgie leaves that perfect perch and falls asleep on your shoulder, your hand, or in your lap, they aren't upgrading their comfort. They're actually giving something up. They are trading the safest, most natural position they have just to be near you.
Seriously, think about that. They're trading their absolute safety to settle near you, a creature 40 times their size. Just think about the sheer biological paradox of that for a second. To them, you're this massive, unpredictable creature with giant hands. They have every biological reason to be terrified of you. For a prey animal to willingly close its eyes next to a predator-sized being, it's absolutely not about finding a warm spot. It's a massive, high-stakes life-or-death decision that overrides millions of years of survival instincts. So you gotta ask yourself, why would they keep making that trade? Why would a creature with a nervous system literally built for survival deliberately put itself in such a vulnerable position? Well, the answer goes back to ancient flock mechanics, and it actually casts you in a role you probably never expected.
Pay close attention to where your budgies positions themselves when they sleep near you. It is definitely not random. See, in the wild, budgie flocks don't just all go to sleep at the exact same time. They actually take turns. The birds on the outer edge of the flock sleep with one eye open, literally watching for predators, while the birds in the center get to rest. Researchers call this fascinating behavior the group edge effect.
So when your budgie settles near you at night, part of their tiny brain is running that exact same ancient code. They've basically assigned themselves a role as your tiny bodyguard. By positioning themselves on you or right next to you, they're treating you as the center of the flock, and they are taking the edge. They're actively watching the space around you. Now, is your 30-gram budgie actually going to fight off a predator for you? No way. But in their mind, they've taken a post and they are showing up for it every single night to protect you.
But listen closely. If you ever hear your budgie grinding their beak really softly right before they go quiet, you've hit the jackpot. Avian behaviorists describe this beak grinding as a full relaxation signal. The moment you hear it, your budgie has officially stopped standing watch. They've decided they're so profoundly safe with you that they just don't need to guard the perimeter anymore.
Okay, let's talk about how they sleep, because every single sleep position is basically a secret message. Let's decode this. In the wild, birds point their open eye toward the most likely direction of danger, right? So when they sleep facing you, you aren't the threat. You're the safe vantage point they're watching from. What if they turn their back? I know, some owners take this personally, but in flock language, turning their back to another bird is one of the absolute highest signals of trust. It means they know for a fact no danger comes from your direction. A tight tuck? That means they feel safe, sure, but there's a little layer of caution still there. But the full press, leaning in and closing every single inch of distance, that is the strongest signal of all. It literally means you are part of their flock and you belong to them.
And while you're checking out their posture, look really closely at their feet. These are tiny, easily missed physical cues. If their feet are gripping your finger or the perch super tightly, they're still holding on to a bit of tension. They're ready to launch if they absolutely have to. But when those tiny toes relax and spread open completely flat against you, you are witnessing trust becoming visible in real time. Their body is literally letting go of its escape plan. So, we've talked about what their bodies are doing, but to really appreciate this, we have to look deeper. What is actually happening inside that tiny skull when they sleep near you? The avian biology of how a budgie processes sleep is genuinely mind-blowing, and it proves exactly how deep their trust in you really goes.
This is a complete biological marvel. Budgies are capable of something called unihemispheric sleep. Basically, this means one hemisphere of their brain rests while the other stays totally alert, keeping one eye open. This is their default survival mechanism out in the wild. They have this background threat detection program constantly running, because fully switching off your brain in the wild gets you killed. They can literally sleep while staying just a little bit awake.
But in conditions of absolute safety, birds shift into what's called bihemispheric sleep. Both brain hemispheres power down, both eyes close, and the entire biological alarm system shuts off all at once. When your budgie falls into a deep, still sleep near you, they are turning off a defense mechanism that took millions of years to build. They're shutting down their internal radar simply because your presence tells their biology that it's completely safe to do so.
And it gets better. They don't just change how they sleep, they change when they sleep. By nature, budgies move with the sunrise and sunset. That's just pure biological instinct. But a bonded budgie will quietly rewrite millions of years of evolutionary rhythm just to match your adapted routine. They wake when you wake. They settle when you settle. They learn your schedule, because simply existing in your world has become more important to them than following the schedule their own biology was built for.
But all of this beautiful connection brings us to a really crucial, urgent warning. What does it actually mean when a budgie who always slept near you suddenly just stops? This is the red flag most owners desperately wish they had caught sooner. Please, do not brush this off as them just being moody. A budgie pulling away, going quiet, or seeking out corners is a massive distress signal.
Because our budgies can't exactly speak to us, they communicate through distance. Let's break down why they might pull away. First, unseen environmental disruptions. It could be a random sound near their cage you already forgot about, but to them, it completely shattered the safety of their space. Second, a sudden handling they weren't ready for. Grabbing them way too quickly can instantly trigger those prey instincts. And third, a quiet break in trust. If that trust is broken, they withdraw in literally the only way they know how. Sudden distance is their loudest way of saying they're afraid, they're in pain, or they feel their environment just isn't secure anymore.
So pay close attention to where they sleep. They walked past the high perches, the far corners, the safe spaces, all just to get to you. Never view a sleeping budgie on your shoulder as just a pet taking a nap. That little bird with a heart the size of a grape and a nervous system literally built for survival picked you. Against every wild instinct they carry, they chose you as their absolute safe place. So what are you going to do to ensure they never regret that choice?